Hello and welcome to Faith in the Gaps. My name is Em, and it's been a week, so today is the 7th of May, 2019. And, last time I talked about the Theotokos and, this concept of prayer and response to prayer. So, anyway, I haven't received any emails on any topics of discussion, so I thought I'd just kind of evaluate and discuss about life in general on my end. So, I think what's been the hardest is, just trying to have a sense of understanding. And, when you go back to the story of Eden, we always discuss about how Eve took the fruit and ate of it because of the serpent and his lies. Well, that's an interesting concept, considering, with that bite, we received knowledge. Well, does that mean we were potatoes or idiots prior to? I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but, it's an interesting thought, a concept, but is the reason why we get so emotional and so frustrated with everything is because we did partake of the knowledge, and because of original sin and us having that issue with us, which is a whole different topic for another day. Is that the reason why we get frustrated with not either knowing or seeing the logic in? And I guess where the primary topic of today's conversation is dealing with faith in those chaotic times. Because I'll be the first to admit there are days that, nope, no faith at all, and it's frustrating because I can't, with chaos there should be this ounce of predictability with it that we should be able to accept and know, and I just can't get to that point where it's like I'm okay with not knowing, so I keep digging and digging. It's like being in a tunnel and you just dig and dig and dig, knowing that you're just going to the center of the earth, but you just keep digging because you have to know, hoping to find a way out. When you logically know there is no right or wrong to it, it's what it is what it is, and you can't do anything about it. It's even chaotic when you say it. It's just like this chaos that exists in it, and I think on some level we know that we're not going to be able to understand that. And I think that's what disappoints us, is because it's our lack of being able to see the bigger picture, I guess, and the purpose behind everything. And I have to believe that there is purpose for everything. So, got a friend who going through a nasty part in his life, and he doesn't understand why it happened, why he's having to pay for this bad mistake he made. We'll just call it that. And, and I asked that same question, like, why are we having to go through the horrible divorce and the high conflict birth mother and all of that we had to? And I've come to the realization that while I couldn't see it at the time, and I blamed God, and I was frustrated with God, for the loss of church and the loss of, my family, that it really was in preparation to help others that are going through the same thing. And so, people ask, well, why does God allow evil to exist? Well, God allows evil to exist because it is a training tool, for lack of a better term. It's a way to prepare his believers for situations that they are going to be needed and their decisions will be needed based upon His divine plan. So in that essence, do we accept all the pain and tribulations with joy? I think you have to if you're a Christian. I think that's kind of part of the deal. And while in chaos, it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that because there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no logic behind it. So it makes it difficult to say, hey, we accept this for what this is, and, we will continue moving forward proclaiming His name. And there are times where I'm like, I see things like, why did the guy adopt my stepkids? What's the purpose of that? Why do you come from the Philippines, with a trip with your family, to then coming in the month of February to adopt the children, and then out in March to go to Germany for a year? Why do you do that? Why? And because I don't know all the variables that go with that, you just kind of go, okay, well. And as a Christian, all you can do is pray. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, like, well, you just are going to have to pray about it. I don't think it is. I think we use that term and saying, well, there is no other option, so just pray. It's kind of like a parent saying, well, I'm your mom because I told you, so therefore that is rule and law, go and do it. When you reach that point, because I said so. It's when you get to that because I said so part, it becomes very important that you pray about it. And that's not a negative connotation, but it's prayer. And, and we talk about, so this leads me to prayer and why prayer is important in chaotic modes. So I have what the doctors have termed as fibromyalgia. So in a nutshell, it means I feel like I've been run over by a bus all the time. I hurt somewhere. And because I hurt somewhere all the time, I'm in constant pain. So, and I don't take meds for it, by the way. I'm not one of those, a lot of people that, or some people that take pain meds. I believe that by feeling pain, I'm able to adapt and relate to people more. And so, but I get these flare-ups, which it's like having coursing pain throughout your body in every move. And I'm just, things that cause the flare-ups, stress, weather, all of that. I had a coworker who quit at the end of last month, and so now I've been taking on all the responsibilities of the department. So, which is fine, I'm happy. He's happy where he's, doing what he likes, and so that's an important thing. If I would never ask anyone to stay somewhere where they're totally miserable. And what I did but I've taken on that responsibility. I've taken on myself, and there's really no one to talk to about it. There's no one understands it, so it's just kind of like you accept it and deal with it. But so I've been having these bad flare-ups with my fibromyalgia. We'll get back to that. So I decided the other day that I needed to do evening prayer. I don't know why. I was driving home and I just thought, let's just do evening prayer. I haven't done evening prayer in forever. And I used to be an avid listener. I spent one entire Lent just doing evening and morning prayer all the time. And I did the hour prayers too. So that was kind of an entertaining 40 days. Or more than 40, I guess. But I was Anglican at the time, so 40. And you don't realize what that does to you until you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I can I can do this. And so I'm sitting there listening, and granted, it's Russian Orthodox / Eastern Orthodox, so it's not like I'm real good at it yet. Like, I can say it and do the chanting and all that. So I've been listening to it, and I find that after I'm done listening to it, like, the pain kind of subsides. It's like almost an endorphin rush. It's kind of cool. So this morning I hurt really bad because thunderstorms are expected today. Go figure, right? And doing morning prayer, and now morning prayer was 20 minutes. Like, it's not a normal 10 or 13 minute podcast. It's a almost 20 minute podcast. I think it was 17 minutes and 48 seconds in. And believe it or not, after listening to it and really listening to it, I felt so much better afterwards. It wasn't like a flare-up day. It was just a normal day. So I think that's kind of important, that in the chaos and everything, if we would just take a moment to sit down and pray, and just, even if it's on YouTube or something, it's not like you sitting personally praying. You don't have to do that, because I know a lot of people that would make them uncomfortable. But even if it's just listening to prayer, you gotta get into this mindset, and your body starts to calm down, and the prayers that are being said, you start thinking them, and that's your own private prayer, which I think is kind of important in chaotic moments, because I firmly believe that prayer is like an endorphin rush, and everybody should do it. And that does not mean your prayers will always be answered. And in the Garth Brooks song, some of the best answers to prayers are the ones that aren't. But then there are some that, you get the side effect of, hey, yeah, I know you prayed, and so you get this serenity with it and this endorphin rush from it, and I think that's important. I do it, and if you genuinely believe it, then you end up feeling a whole lot better afterwards. And so anyway, that's my push for making sure you pray. As a Christian, I know we're told to do it all the time, but this is one of those times where I think it could be really a valuable thing for everybody to do if they did it. But that's me. So, getting back to chaos. So we've talked a little bit about prayer and chaos and how we lose our faith. So I think losing faith is, we all go through. The only thing I can relate it to is when my mother used to tell me. She used to go, you fall in and out of love with people, but it doesn't mean that you leave them when you fall out of love with them. It just means that that's what the friendship that you developed was before. And that's when we were talking about finding a soulmate, a partner in life, kind of deal. And I think in a lot of ways that's a lot like our relationship with Christ and the church. We get to these points where it's oh yeah, I want to go all the time. And then when things get rough, chaotic, we're just nope, not doing that. I'm not getting what I need out of the relationship. But in all honesty, if people would just take the time to go and make sure they go and do what they need to do, I think they would find that the relationship, that some prayers are answered in maybe not the ways that we want them to, in chaotic, modes or not. And, in chaos, it's hard to see through the muck and the mud, but I think in all honesty, you end up getting some kind of sense of movement through it, which I think is important. But anyway, so if you're going through a chaotic time in your life, let me know, send me an email, and I'll pray for you. You don't have to get into the details if you don't want to, I understand. It's faithinthegaps@gmail.com. And I know it's only a 16-minute podcast today, but I just thought I'd share that with you because I know we all are going at some point, some level. We're going through chaos in our own lives, and so I just wanted to share with you that prayer is really the answer for that. And that while you may question why God allows for this chaos and evil to exist, there is a purpose and a divine teaching mechanism for it. Because at some point, someone's going to come to you and you're going to have an empathy, an understanding of where they're at and what they need to do. So may God bless you all, and you guys have a great week, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening to Faith in the Gaps. Bye.